Donald Trump has dropped his plans to nominate Daniel Ratcliffe as the head of national intelligence. This follows Dan Coates' decision to step down as the head of national intelligence. And part of the reason why Trump is likely to have decided against nominating Representative Ratcliffe is because there had already been some pushback against the nomination. So first, let me give you how Trump announced this on Twitter, like he typically does, tweeting the following: "Our great Republican Congressman John Ratcliffe is being treated very unfairly by the lamestream media. Rather than going through months of slander and libel, I explained to John how miserable it would be for him and his family to deal with these people. John has therefore decided to stay in Congress, where he has done such an outstanding job, essentially being my little puppet." He didn't say that. "Outstanding job representing the people of Texas and our country. I will be announcing my nomination for Director of National Intelligence shortly." So the reason why I say serving as Trump's puppet is because he is a Trump loyalist. When the Mueller testimony happened, I believe it was last week, he was essentially auditioning for this job. And so he referred to the Russia investigation as a hoax. And so it's good news that Trump has decided against nominating him. It's good news that there are some Republicans who had pushed back on the idea of nominating him. But at the same time, knowing Trump, I wouldn't be surprised if he chose someone even worse.
So first of all, just a quick correction. You amusingly initially said Daniel Radcliffe, who is of course
John Ratcliffe. Sorry about that.
Who's of course from Harry Potter. Although that could be coming one day. Like, would you put
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I don't think that would be his first moment of clarity, actually.
Right. No, but couldn't you see Trump watching TV as he always does, and be like, "Oh, that guy with the wand. He can do a lot of things with that wand. I like it."
I like that Harry Potter guy. He's got the glasses. He's very smart.
You know what? He's very strong with that wand. He's right out of Central Casting.
Well, he looks like he's from Norway.
Maybe you can give me a little something with that wand. I don't know. I'm over exaggerating my words. I have no idea how to do a Trump impression.
I kind of like it. Okay, back to John Ratcliffe. Oh boy, he must have done something bad. Because I mean, look at the things that the nominees that Trump are pushed forward. And Trump hates backing down, hates it. Oh, some Republicans were unenthusiastic. That wouldn't stop Trump at all. A lot of Republicans are unenthusiastic about a lot of his appointments. So they must have run into an iceberg in that vetting process.
So let's hear from our former Army Lieutenant Colonel. His name is Ralph Peters, and he was very critical of this potential nomination. Let's hear what his arguments were.
So you've got a guy who's not interested in intelligence. He really just somehow believes that he can make it up as he goes. And yes, he wants sycophants. He wants yes men. He doesn't want to be challenged. And he has found, it appears to me, the perfect sycophant. Someone who is utterly unqualified, utterly, profoundly unqualified to be the director of national intelligence. This candidate, the wonderfully named Congressman Ratcliffe, that's a screenwriter's dream. He shouldn't be anywhere near the office of the Director of National Intelligence. Think of the people we've had in those chairs. Jim Clapper, people like that, who know what they're doing and gave their lives to intelligence, and you're gonna put a monkey in there?
Okay, so wow. I now agree with you. It had nothing to do with pushback from any Republican. There's something in Ratcliffe's past, there's something in his record, there's something that would be a nightmare in the nomination process, or the confirmation process, I should say.
That guy you just saw, Ralph Peters, he used to be a Fox News analyst, a security analyst, and he is rabidly right-wing. I don't agree with that guy on anything. I remember like launching into him 17 different times when he was at Fox News. He left Fox News in disgust because he's like, the guy's a lunatic. Hello guys, look, I'm crazy and I think that dude's crazy, right? He's like, what are you, nuts? You're gonna let this guy say that he's not working with Russia? What everyone can see with their own eyes that he's working with Russia. He goes and works with Putin, does a secret meeting, won't allow translators, and then comes out and yells at our intelligence community. Are you guys nuts? So that's that Ralph Peters, okay, who's super right wing, and he's like, that's my point about, and it proves him right about the Republican sycophants. even a guy that much of a zealot warmonger, right winger, that was a Fox News analyst, can't take it anymore and says you gotta say it. The emperor has no clothes. Ratcliffe has no qualifications, and Donald Trump hates the intelligence community. It's obvious.
Yeah, I think there's this illusion we have on the left that there is uniformity on the right, and this had existed that the Republicans are also afraid of a small group of people consolidating power, and that's actually what is happening with this nomination. Was that the director of national intelligence would report to who? The AG. They would be in conversation with the Attorney General, who is Trump's man, who is Barr. And so the fear is that the director of national intelligence is the group that is supporting the FBI probe into the Russia investigation. So if they don't have a guy there, if they don't have a political loyalist, instead of somebody who is a career intelligence professional, then they, if they don't have that, then he has everything.
Yeah.
So that's a great point, Maytha. And I should have pointed that out as well, because Ratcliffe is a conspiracy theorist and says that it was actually Hillary who secretly manipulated the entire intelligence community. Well, you put a lunatic like that in, who's just strictly a political hatchet man, well, then you're not gonna have any intelligence that the United States government can rely on, because he's gonna do conspiracy theories, he's gonna do political ploys, and well, then if we don't have real intelligence, we might miss a threat. We might miss a lot of threats. And be, let alone the obvious negative thing of, hey, investigating your political opponents and starting wars with people you don't like, whether they actually did something or didn't. But there's a third problem of, you're not getting actual intelligence about actual threats.
Right. And the person who would be thought of to be the interim acting director of national intelligence, Sue Gordon, has 3 decades of experience within the office, right? Ratcliffe has virtually none, just sitting on a committee, and also is a political loyalist. And actually, the other thing that is really suspicious that they're trying to do is they're trying to contravene a process around what happens when there is a vacancy. And usually, there's this Vacancy Reform Act that they're trying to manipulate to be able to put in their guy. But it usually calls for somebody who either is the next up or somebody who has that professional experience that is a senior official.
Right.
And so he doesn't qualify under any of those grounds.
Yeah, he's only been serving in the House Intelligence Committee for less than 6 months. That is the only experience or expertise he has in this area. So of course it was inappropriate to even consider nominating him. But remember, Trump is gonna look for a loyalist. The reason why he's not going with Sue Gordon, and she's next in line to replace Coates, is because he probably thinks he can't manipulate her the way he's been able to successfully manipulate members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, members of his own administration. He wants people who will be yes men.
100%. Last thing, Sue Gordon went to go brief him because that's her job. She has to brief him about intelligence at the White House. He wouldn't let her. And apparently she had to leave. You don't even want to hear the intelligence, and you,
of course not.
Yeah.
And you're the president of the United States. Maybe she was going to tell you that we're about to get attacked. No, I don't know if it's because she won't, bow down to him. I don't know if it's because she's a woman. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But to have this person who's had 30 years of experience to give you the intelligence briefing that the president must have, and you kick her out and won't even listen to her. Now, the guy's a danger to the whole country. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.